Hello, I am here to talk about our summer bingo card. First off, if you want to download that, mark off your progress as you go, you can do that by visiting my Instagram page, which is instagram.com/Covergirlbooks, and you'll find it saved in my highlighted stories. It's got a little sunshine emoji right there. Go ahead and open that up, take a screenshot, save it to your phone, and you'll have a page that not only has just the names of the reading prompts, but also another version of it that has what you'll have to do to complete those. If you do plan on jumping in with us, please do share my post to your stories so that you can invite even more readers to join us this summer. Working from left to right, we're gonna go through that top row and we'll just keep going sequentially down. The first one is Tote Bag, and this is a book that has specifically been recommended to you by a friend. You can reach out to that buddy and let them know, hey, I want to know what book you think I should read this summer, and add that to your TBR and you'll be all set for that space. That is the tote bag space because you're gonna wanna carry that along with you. It is a close friend, so you're gonna reach out to a close friend and ask for a book recommendation. Just to the right, Staycation, and for that one, you're going to read a translated book. Translated book is going to be translated to your native language from another language, and so in order to determine that, you can look carefully at the Goodreads description. You can also do a web search for translated fiction, translated nonfiction. You can look up the genre of your interest and find a translated work. That's just a great way in general to keep your reading broad, because oftentimes the things that are marketed more closely to us are from our home country, and it's really great to be widely read as well as widely traveled. The very next space is the flip-flop space, and that is where you're going to read from a genre you don't typically gravitate toward. So if you're someone who doesn't pick up that many classics, this could be a great opportunity to read a short one. But if you want to combine spaces and knock off more than one in one book, you can do that. If you wanted to hit 2 in 1, you could pick up a thriller that has vacation setting, and you could use it for those 2 spaces combined, both the flip-flop and the 6 feet deep prompt. Continuing to the right, the next space is going to be the cricket sound space, and for that you're going to want to pick up a book of nature poems. And there are definitely more books that are nature poems than you think. If you have a favorite poet and you want to check out their work, you can do that. Some great ones to start with would be Mary Oliver, Emily Dickinson, and Robert Frost. Those are just 3 ideas to get you started. Please do look a little bit further out and see what poet you might try this summer. The next one is Cool Shades. And for this one, it's gonna be a fun experience. So you're gonna go to a local bookstore. You can research where your local bookstores are if you visit the website indiebound.org, and you can type in your zip code and find a new bookstore near you if you like. If you can't physically visit the bookstore, you can go onto the bookstore's website and see what employee picks they have highlighted for summer. That's kind of the lazy river method for this one. If you really want to have fun with it, I would recommend going to the store, either looking at the shelf of employee picks if they have a display like that, or going up to someone and asking for their recommendation. I would specifically say that you're looking for a summer book. You don't want it to be too long because you have other books you need to read on your TBR, but it could be a fun interaction, and who knows if you will find a new favorite because of this person's recommendation. Moving on down to the second line, we are starting off with True Story, and that one is pretty face value. You're going to look for a book that has the phrase "a true story" or "based on a true story" on the cover. The next one is a bit of a challenge. You're going to want to find a book that is just one word title. That is the Shark in the Water prompt, and the reason why is because of the movie Jaws. It's one word, it's all caps, it's big impact. So see if you can find a title with just one word. The next space is called Hydrate Before You Dihydrate. So make sure you're drinking plenty of water this summer, and also find a book with water on the cover. That could be literally ocean on the cover, it could be a swamp, it could be a lake, it could be a wave, a glass of water even. Look for a cover with water on the image and you'll have that one filled out. The next one is swim test. And for this one, you're gonna wanna pick up a book that is more than 400 pages. So this is kind of the only one that has to do with length. You're gonna look for a book that's longer than 400 pages. If you don't read larger books, this might be a little bit of a stretch for you. It's not gonna be a big classic. It's not a big book necessarily. It is gonna push you a little bit, and that is the purpose. Taking the swim test to make sure we can swim safely in the deep end with this one. The last one in this row is to find a book with a yellow cover. That is for our Here Comes the Sun prompt. If you're looking at books on your shelf, that would be the best place to get started. And if you strike out there, take a trip to your local library and see if they have any yellow books. If you just can't find anything, you could look for series. There are series that have yellow covers. One that comes to mind is Nancy Drew. So if you feel like going back to some nostalgic roots, maybe you could pick up a Nancy Drew mystery that's set in summertime or on a vacation, and you could knock off a few other spaces with that one. In our third row, the first prompt is childhood summer. You're gonna look online for the Newbery Award winners list. The Newbery Award is given to authors specifically writing with children in mind, and you're gonna look at the list of the award recipients. You can look for recent books, or you can look for the books that have been on their list for years if you want to. That's totally up to you. These titles are a little bit easier to find at your local library as well because of their honor status. But if you strike out there, you might be able to find an ebook version, an audiobook. If all else fails, check out Thrift Books or Pango Books for some Newbery Award winners. The next space is one of my favorites, and it is Ice Cream Run. For this one, you're gonna wanna reach out to a friend and ask them if they want to read a book with you and discuss it. Doesn't mean you have to read it in real time, doesn't mean you have to discuss it at length or catch up every time you're reading it, but you are gonna wanna read the same book and plan at least one time that you get together and talk about that, even if it's only over the phone. So that's a fun one. It's an ice cream run. It's meant to be shared. Free floating space. If you wanna use it, you can use that free space and it will contribute toward your 5 for bingo. Moving on to the right, that is reading a book by a Black, Indigenous, or person of color. This is really a great opportunity to kind of look at the books that you've been reading and see if you've been reading from different perspectives. That's why this space is called the Listen Up space. Take a look at how widely you're reading as far as authors and their backgrounds are concerned, and to really widen your perspective this summer. Our last space on this row is the 50 SPF space, and that is to read a book with a protagonist or main character who is at least 50 or older. These are a little harder to find than you would think, but if you're really struggling, maybe check out some Agatha Christie books, because there are the main character who fall into that age group. Newer releases have started to go this direction too and offer older main characters. So you don't have to limit yourself to classics or older books. You can actually find something a little more recent if you like, and definitely start off by looking at your shelf at home and see if there's something that fits in this category. The first space in the third row is I Wish It Would Never End, as we do with summer. With this prompt, what you're gonna do is just read a book in a series. Doesn't have to be a new series. If you're already in the middle of several, just read the next one. But sometimes summer is a great time to try some new series, so it's totally up to you. Read a book in a series. The next space to the right is No Chill, and this one is for the people who just can't sit still while they're reading. You're gonna break it up a little bit by listening to an audiobook and completing an activity. That could be walking, that could be making something, that could be building a puzzle. Whatever it is, you're gonna be doing an activity while you listen to an audiobook. In the next space to the right, we're looking at the No Splashing space. This one is so easy. You're gonna be looking for a cover that the title is in all caps. So it almost looks like it's yelling at you, but it's really just calling your name. Look for a title with all caps for the No Splashing space. Continuing on, we have the Touch Grass tag, and for this one, all you're gonna do is read outside. And you don't have to read the entire book outside, but at least a quarter of the book outside. So this could be a great one to pair with the nature poetry up in cricket sounds. You could pick up your nature poetry, Sit outside on a blanket and enjoy the sounds of nature as you read the beautiful words about nature. The last one in that row is called Best Ever. That one is simply reading a book that has the word summer in the title. That one actually, you will probably find a lot of recent releases that have that in common. You would also probably find quite a few romance books that have that in common, but I know that you're going to find something if you choose to complete that space. We're in our final row, and the first one in the last row is the umbrella space, and for this one, you're going to pick a cover that gives you summer vibes. So it could be the color scheme, it could be the actual subject of the artwork, but that's one that you chose solely because of the cover. The next space is vacation plans, and for this one, you're going to want to pick up a book that has a destination that you would potentially book a trip for. The goal of this one isn't so much just to imagine yourself in a location, but maybe future you will go to this place and you'll have that memory of reading the book in your mind while you're there. You can also choose something a little further out, a place that you might never go to personally, but you would love to visit, as long as it's not fantasy. Don't go to a world that is a parallel universe on a different timeline. Go to a destination where you can learn about the people, the food, the environment, and imagine yourself there so that one day if you get to book that trip, you will have that book in mind. The next space is It's Cooking Out There, and for this one, you're going to whip up a dish that you hear mentioned in the book that you're reading. So if it has a recipe, that's great. If it just mentions it, look up the recipe, make it, and enjoy that. Our next to last space on the bottom row is 6 Feet Deep, and for this one, you're going to read a thriller or mystery that is set on vacation. This one also is really easy because a lot of thrillers, a lot of mysteries rely on that alternate location. You know, it's not home, it's not the town that you're used to, it's a location that you don't have all of the pieces to, and so when something scary happens or something mysterious unfolds, it's all new and unexpected to the main characters. So I think this is going to be an easy one for you to check off if you want to give it a try. And then our final one on the bottom row is Water Slide, and this one is a little bit of a YouTube-y challenge, and that is read a book in 12 hours. It doesn't have to be massive, it could be really short if you wanted to, it could even be a short story with the goal in mind that you complete one book in one day. You don't have to read for 12 consecutive hours, you're just reading a book within 12 hours. That is the Water Slide space. That is all of the spaces on our summer bingo card. I hope that you'll participate with me in this. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Let me know if you're going to join in by sharing my post on Instagram. I am looking forward to hearing what books you're planning to pick up, which spaces you want to tackle. As always, it's not about how many books you read, it's not about how much time you spend reading, it's about enjoying what you're reading and having fun with it. So I hope that this encourages you to read a little more widely, to do some fun challenges this summer, and I look forward to hearing what you pick up. If you have any questions whatsoever, let me know in the comments. I would love to help. I will see you in another video soon.